Hey, hello everyone. Um, Welcome back to my channel, and my name is Ali. I'm a software engineer, learning and building in public for the last 3 months already, I guess. Yeah, four maybe. So today we are at season 3, episode 15, and this is already a long running, long taking stream this season. It's all about the trading strategy, options trading strategy, and especially the wheel strategy here. What we've done so far, we've built an engine to simulate the real market, or like as close as possible to the real market. And then we have the strategy written down with different rules and signals and so on. And we were running the Monte Carlo multiple tests, multiple simulations, which is called Monte Carlo, and we were calculating the win rate, mean APR, mean PNL, max drawdown, couple of metrics like Sharpe and Sortino ratios, which define the, I don't know, profitability of the strategy basically. And we have this state machine here, and so on and so on. So what we've been doing last I don't know how much, 5 to 6 episodes already, like third of it. We were running the experiments. As you can see here, there are folders from sweep 1 to sweep 20, and these are all experiments with the different params. I was thinking, how do we like looking at all these params here on the strategy, I was thinking like, how do we test it? I actually genuinely wanted to test all that with my bare hands, you know. 1 second. Yeah, I wanted to test it out with my bare hands, and then I realized like, what the fuck am I gonna do this? I have to do this with AI instead. So I started doing kind of a research or experiments. Initially, it written down the list of the experiments we need to perform, and now we are narrowed them down a lot, and we only have 3 left or 4 left. And initially there was like 15, so basically we are like already over all the experiments we wanted to do. Like, but you know, with the more you make experiments, the more new ones are coming in, and yeah, it just makes sense to keep doing that. There is lots of insights, so then we will incorporate them all and into an update for our code base. Yeah, and so far there are still experiments that make sense. There are still experiments that have to be done, and that's what we're gonna be doing today. And also, I'm gonna tell you about one thing. If you know, let me take a look if I have a link saved for that. If not, I'm just gonna find it for you from scratch. 1 second. So there is a lot of talk recently about auto research, which is released by Andrei Karpati. If you know, is I'm not, you know, very good at name droppings, and I actually don't really like to attach something to people. But yeah, this guy seems to be very smart. I guess, I mean, he's probably one of the founders of OpenAI and so on. But I mean, I'm not like that aware of his personality, but I'm aware of his work. And this is the thing that he was pushing for the last couple of days. And yesterday I was looking at it again and realized one thing. This is basically what we were doing with you guys here all along. And what he shows here is the auto research pattern, I would say, which basically means, oh my god, many requests. Fuck. Which basically means that it runs the research and tries to make an update unless some points, I mean, unless some how it's called, like result metric improves, you know. And this is basically what you can see here. Like, this is a baseline, then you have a total batch moved from 124k to 262k. Then it like improved the result, and there is improvement. So there were like many steps that led to this improvement, and this is basically how he managed to. I think yesterday he announced to, there is a project called GPT-2. I think it's like how fast can you train your model to be on par with GPT-2, and okay, sorry. Yeah. So basically, he managed to decrease the training time from 2 hours, I think, to one an hour 50 minutes. So like it was not much. It was just about 10%, but guys, it's still a lot. And it was 2%. I don't remember here. Can take a look here. It's written somewhere here. But it doesn't matter. I mean, what matters is that this pattern basically is what we actually did. So this is what I came up yesterday was, I was like, okay, so this is basically what we are doing here, out the research. So we are tuning the params unless our like metrics like win rate, what do we have? Max drawdown, mean APR, and yeah, and Sortino ratio. Basically, we just try to improve all these parameters, right? So we are finding all these possible combinations or changes. This is basically what it does. That's cool. That's cool. And as far as I know, what you can do here is like just simple three simple files. Yes, prepare, train, and program, which is program is like our instruction that we do with the prompting. This is what we are basically writing here all the time: experiment planning, experiment planning, and so on. And then there is a prepare, and there is a train. I think we can, like, this one is like prepare a new experiment, and this one run a new experiment. So yeah, and validate. So this is basically exactly the same thing. So yeah, I was just telling you this, that I'm glad that I was able to came up to this, without any external force. This already happened a couple of times to me, and I think this definitely proves me that I'm on the right path right now with the learning and key and the way of thinking and so on. Because, like, if you come up with this kind of stuff, that means, yeah, you are on track. I don't know, it's not bragging, it's just sharing my thoughts. I would be happy to discuss this as well. So all right, let's get back to our experiment here. Let's refresh our memory what we have here. I think this one is still like not decided. Okay, so the last one, the recommended next experiment is research status for experiment after 20 experiments. Conservative current is definitely confirmed. Optimal preset via rolling window validation. Mean sharp 0.8 across 17 windows. Walk forward stable. Active is viable as competent. Moderate is confirmed non-viable. Both deployable strategies have severe max drawdown, making drawdown management the top remaining deployment blocker. So basically, we are going to be doing 20 to 1 now, and we will try to get rid of the max drawdown. Okay. Let's just run it right away so we don't waste any time. And I actually figured out what happened with my request here. I'm now going to be using the paid requests, unfortunately, but so what happened is I had a Plus Pro or Pro Plus before, and now I'm just having Pro. And the allowance resets at 1st of April, but I think the UI or something, it just resolves at resets at ninth of every month because I started the subscription at ninth, and that's why, like, I kind of had already 300 requests by then, but it was still thinking I have 1,500 requests. That's like 15% or 20%. But then at the end, it just immediately went to 100% because the nines came, and my limits are upped again, or no, my limits actually were decreased again to 300, and I already spent them. So actually, they show me the incorrect spending before. That's why I had this issue, and the spending was actually not couple of percentage, not 5% basically, but 25% per stream. This is what I only realized last stream, but yeah. Um, Not that big of a deal, but I was very surprised. So still, everything stands for what I was telling about the Copilot. This is still the best and the most efficient way to purchase tokens because they only charge you for the request. Now, all the shit that's happening here, regardless how much time it will take, regardless of how much token it will spend, it will still only consume one request, or like in our case, since we're using opposites times, it's 3x, and it consumes 3 requests basically. So it's gonna be every message here costs you 12 cents, but if you pay extra. And but yeah, the thing is, like, here for example, it's now preparing the plan. I explicitly told it to prepare the plan, so now it will prepare a plan, it will stop and wait for my input, and this is where we lose money. If I would tell him that, like, plan it and go ahead and implement it until you are done, never come back, or if you come back, just ask questions and immediately continue, then it will be all counted as a similar or the same request basically, and you will only pay like for one request or 3 requests in terms of in case of Opus, and this is really really nice. So if you yeah, so now I'm just gonna be spending 12 more cents just because I need to see the plan before it executes it, so, but it actually doesn't make sense because you can steer it all the time anyway. So yeah, practice makes perfect. Let's take a look here. It requires some changes. Okay, I'm gonna read the plan then. So the experiment 21 is dynamic position sizing. Reduce max drawdown below 40%. This is our goal, without destroying sharp. Test 3 position sizing approaches on both historical rolling windows and Monte Carlo. Let's take a look. Is it gonna be using multi-threaded approach? Yes. Okay. Okay, a $10,000 account could lose 7,000 before recovering. That's the problem we're solving now. Yeah, definitely. Your stop losses would trigger that much earlier. That's good. So it wants to change the engine, and I'm gonna let it do that, I guess. So while it's working here, we can probably do some fun. I don't want to wait and see it like this. Um, Maybe we can go ahead and see like something else from our list here. For example, design a new UI for backtesting. Let's take a look what we have here. I'm sure we can do something from here. So the first one is the next experiment is actually the backtesting on real prices. So maybe it should have a new additional UI too, or we postpone and do sweeps only. This is very interesting. Uh, probably not sure if we should run it at the same time with this changes because we're changing the engine here. So let's postpone this for now. Automated simulator to find best params for the strategy. AI driven scripted. This is what we are doing now. Once all improvements are implemented, let's do more around on simulations. Manually check everything, every trade that makes sense. Add the proper signal decision. No improvements anymore. Okay, check if all findings restrictions for the strategy can be incorporated within the strategy signals themselves, so we don't need another hypervisor and can just let the strategy run. After all experiments, check if anything from skipped improvements might resolve the experiment's issues or findings. After all experiments, run double checks to see if we tried all available params, options, and strategy, and if there is something else we can try. And from improvements list, or even something new, or if they were in general performed in good environment, not corrupted and out of and our engine is correctly working too. So there is a new code base for the simulator which accepts the new param position sizing for contracts. new ton of tests here, like 300 lines, 150 lines. Okay. Um, Still preparing the test. It's gonna be running it soon. It already finished changing the engine. I'm not sure if we what exactly was changed and if we need to change like the docs and our state machine on the main page and so on. I'm gonna ask all this afterwards. Okay, so it's done. It's gonna be running now. There's some errors here. Okay, running. Still working on a sweep data 16 from the real backtesting. So it wanted to make two scripts, one single threaded and one multi-threaded, and now it's running 5 years here. So we should have just done the multi-threaded one right away. But yeah, okay. The context is already getting filled. Okay, I don't know how long it will take. Actually, there is no more progress bar here. Let's just hope it won't take long. Let's get back to this additional stuff we can work on. So when strategy is perfect, backtesting on real prices, this is what we are doing it now, but I think we can combine this one with the UI. When backtesting on real prices, try different starts. That's a round of analysis of our engine. It's realistic, no assumptions or hard coded that prevents not considered in strategy or research analysis. Implement IV skew awareness for puts. This is probably what we've done already. Implement take profit rule. Another round of refactoring before production. For clean and testable separate modules. Also to reduce uncertainties like variables. That were added for backward compatibility. Okay, what's happening here? It's done. It was running for 3 minutes. Compacting the conversation. Let's run a new session on GPT 5.2. Let's just start with simple stuff. How would you simply describe the result of performed already performed simulations or experiments? Yeah, let's take a look at this one. Oh, this asks the permission to continue iterate. Now it's writing the analysis. Okay, in simple terms, the experiment found that the wheel strategy can work, but only in a fairly specific way. Across the easy simulation work, the strongest consistent result was the regime filter matters a lot. Selling puts only when IV is meaningfully above realized volatility improves. Selling puts only when IV is meaningfully above realized volatility improves outcomes almost everywhere. That research also showed moderate and especially high risk variance. Well, this is basically the essential thing for puts, I guess. Like I told you before, I consulted with my friend who is very good at this, and he told me that you always need to look at IV, and this is the most important part. And this is basically what our experiment actually showed us here. So that research also shows the moderate and especially high risk variance breakdown in bad environment, and that Heston style clustered volatility is a bad fit for the strategy. The experiments also found that extra deployment signals were not useful. Execution costs were not the main problem, and multi-year results depended heavily on strategy design. The biggest update came from the real historical data. Simulation had suggested active might be the best all-weather choice, but the historical backtest and rolling window validation changed the conclusion. Okay, let's go back. This one is ready. I'm really, I really want to read about it now. Read the analysis. So we are gonna be jumping from. I hope you can catch this. If not, you can just put it on pause. I'm gonna be jumping from between two tasks because otherwise we're just gonna be waiting like we did before, and I want to do more, especially because this is a stream, the one before the last stream, so I want to catch more. So the conclusion is volatility scale sizing is the only effective dynamic sizing mode. Haley fails, TRG fails. Volatility scaled works because it uses forward-looking signal. Current realized volatility that's independent of trade history or portfolio performance. Volatility scale 4045 is the recommended sizing configuration. Max drawdown target is achieved for active. Conservative worst case max drawdown is not reducible by sizing alone. Strategy ranking is preserved. Okay. Take a look here. Okay, so now it will also review the experiments. Okay, so there are 3 more experiments now. Look. So adaptive strategy switching remains here. There is a new one. There are basically 3 new ones. Okay, let's start from the top. So we just separated these two, I guess, and it's a cold start sizing cap. First, then define risk spreads in case this one doesn't work. Multi-asset validation key stays. Volatility target sensitivity in MC stays. No, this is a new one. Monte Carlo, opened by 21. And there are lows. This one adaptive strategy that was here before, and the new one is preset integration and final validation. All right. Okay, what about changes in engine? New docs needed, new tests needed. Change in simulator, MD needed, especially the state machine SVG. Okay, let it work for now. Let's go back here. Probably we can rerun this. Okay, let's read it again. The research found that dual strategy can work, but it's only fairly selective form. Selling options all the time or using middling settings was consistently worse than using a strong regime filter and tight presets. In the simulator, the active version often looked like the best strategy, but when the team finally tested against the real history, the ranking changed. Conservative was the actual. Already. Single most reliable edge actor. The experiments was the regime filter. Only sell puts when implied volatility is favorable versus realized volatility. Okay, let's go back here. Let's check what it changed. So I can keep it running while we do the other stuff. Okay, new config. Remove the ones that were okay. That was the experiment number 21, and we are gonna run the number 22. And let's take a look what it should be about. It should be about cold start sizing cap. Test fixed initial sizing rules on historical rolling windows. Okay, I don't know what's that. Let's just let it work and go back here. So the single most reliable edge across the experiments was the regime filter. Only sell puts when implied volatility is favorable versus realized volatility. That feature helped almost everywhere and became the core of the framework. The model-based research was useful but not perfect. It captured the broad idea, but it underestimated how ugly real volatility clustering and crash periods can be, which is why it overrated active relative to conservative. Current bottom line, the conservative is the main deployable strategy, active is a secondary high-risk option, moderate is effectively rejected. Okay, no, I want other stuff. Can you check uh, later and see if there is anything in that list that could potentially bring a new insights for the experiment. So put spread instead of naked put. This is the clearest one. It directly targets the remaining unresolved issue from experiment 21. Conservative call start drawdown. It could answer a real open question. Can you structurally cap downside and keep most of the conservative edge? Or does the edge disappear once tail risk is hedged? That's the new information. It's not just the future work. Volatility term structure. A lot of your earlier conclusions compare 3-day, 14-day, 30-day cycles. Assuming a simplified IV surface, if short-dated and long-dated options are priced off materially, different volatilities could change some of the conclusions. Okay, well, let's go back here. The implementation plan was just prepared. Take a look at it. Okay, goal is to reduce the conservative window max drawdown from 71% to 45 using a cold start sizing cap, a fixed initial size that applies until volatility scaling has accumulated enough data. Approach at the cold start size and cold start days, parameters, position sizing config during the cold start period. The sizing multiplier is capped regardless of what the underlying sizing mode captures. Okay. What else can we do? So it also did a couple of changes to the engine again. Now it's gonna write the sweep 22 script. That'll be multi-threaded. No. Doesn't seem so. Okay, script is done. Let's run it. Excellent results. So the third one was trend-based call skipping. Experiment 18 showed the active drift immunity did not survive real history, and both viable strategies were regime dependent and in real bear uptrend periods. A trend-aware call rule could test whether part of underperformance comes from capping upside at the wrong times. The Greek's evolution over time. This is more. Should be compacting sometime soon. But it's done with the analysis. Let me finish this one. Reading this one, I'm gonna take a look. Okay, let's take a look at the result. So there were a couple of engine changes. So we need to check if the tests are correct, if the docs were updated and so on. The results are here, maybe their conclusions. Okay, so it actually managed to decrease the max drawdown. It says that it dropped the experiment 23, but actually did not. Now, maybe it did actually. Yeah, it's completely different one. This one was removed, yes. Yeah, let's go back to this thread. So now there is a let me just ask a question. Didn't we already perform cost sensitivity, or am I wrong? Okay, so the AI is starting to hallucinate already. Oh, okay. Okay, this message just costed me 12 cents. Yeah, that's what you shouldn't do here. Okay, let's take a look also. Okay, another question. Um, um, I see that experiments showed that many rules and signals are useless. Does it make sense to remove them all and only keep those that bring impact? And will we have to rerun experiments again in that case? Idea behind this is to keep the strategy clean. Yes, broadly it makes sense, but only if you separate three different things. Remove from deployed strategy, remove from default presets, remove from engine entirely. Those are not the same decision. Um, okay, now it's a on any test. Okay, I was reading here about the simplification, and it said we can simply simplify it. Like, long story short. Okay, let's take a look at the plan here. It again involves changing of the engine, right? Yeah, okay, so another question. You said that the strategy works not in all conditions. Uh, is a current implementation allowing to run it 24/7, and that it will skip trades in unfavorable moments, or we need to enable disable strategy based on the market conditions. What are all possible market states, say, and what exactly are suitable for this strategy? Okay. Yes, but only partly. The current implementation is built to run continuously and self-skip some bad trades. It's not built to fully decide on its own whether the whole market is suitable for deployment. Important distinction is trade level filtering. Yes, already built in. Market level on or off. Decision, no, not really. What the engine does today, the core skip logic when implied volatility is too low versus realized volatility, the strategy returns skip instead of selling a new put. The shift present presets in okay, already used that. Okay, so sweep 23 ready, gonna be running now, and it's done. Excellent results. Core strategies meet max drawdown targets sizing. Okay, we are heading somewhere. Now I'm using paid requests and it looks like they work faster than the ones that were included in the package, you know. So conservative skips new puts when AVRV below 1.1. Aggressive skip new puts when AVRV below 1.2. Those presets use skip on the put size only, not both sides. If the trade already owns, it can still sell covered calls. Both presets also use vol scaled sizing and conservative adds a cold start cap. The ordinary premium is not good enough right now. Moments you can leave it to naturally sit out many entries. Okay, this one's done. Let's go back. Analysis here. Okay, so we just defined the new preset configurations. I'm actually streaming from my phone network today because our home Wi-Fi is cheaty. Framework is deployment ready. We can try and perform two experiments at the same time. Save time and tokens. So some changes to the experiments now. Okay, let's implement BTC. So the last medium experiment left for the BTC, the rest are in low, nice to have. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be doing them. Meanwhile, let's do another round of questions and answers with the AI. Here are the possible states of the market. These are the possible states of the market. Good state, which is IV is clearly above RV. Volatility is mean reverting rather than regime clustering. And the market is not in a crash cascade. This is the best state for the strategy. Current implementation is well suited here. Neutral state is IVRV is around fair value. In this state, the current implementation mostly self-throttles by skipping the new puts. Leaving it on is fine because it should do less, not more. Strong bull state, still suitable but not optimal if your goal is to maximize upside capture. Covered calls, capital gains, cap gains, so the strategy may underperform, buy and hold. This is not a do not run state. Just a works but with opportunity cost state. Recovery state after the sell-off. Historically, this looks favorable, especially for conservative. The framework tends to work well when premium is reached, but the market is no longer in pure collapse. Bear state with positive premium, conditionally suitable. Conservative look materially better than active here, based on real history results. Crash or persistent clustering state. This is a dangerous state. link volatility, clustering, repeated assignment, pressure, deep bear phases, or structurally unstable price action. This is where simulations were too optimistic, especially for active. The current implementation doesn't have a robust automatic detection for this state. Extreme high volatility sideways state, generally unstable, unsuitable. Okay. Was actually suitable for the strategy, most suitable positive variance premium risk, mean reverting, initially suitable. Okay. The cleanest operational view is the current strategy can be left on continuously for trade selection. Should not be treated as a fully autonomous market regime machine. You still need a human decision about whether the asset and regime are broadly acceptable within an acceptable market. The built-in filter does the day-to-day skipping. You want, I can run this into a concrete deployment rulebooks when to run conservative to avoid active and a simple checklist for market. Okay. My God. Waiting for our input here, sorry. Can I just substitute is the current implementation suitable for just implementing the real execution engine and execution engine and plugging it in as is. It has 400k, the GPT 5.4, because it has 1 million context window. But as far as I know, over 200k, it's always like, regardless of the model. But yeah. Not as is for real trading, but it's good base for the real execution end. Positive part is that the core architecture was already split in the right direction. Strategy layer produces signals, and executor turns signals into events and state changes through a reducer. That separation is explicit, and so the decision logic is portable. What is not live ready in its execution model itself? The current implementation still assumes a simulated world. Decisions run on a daily snapshots, not real-time market data. Order prices are derived from Black-Scholes formulas and fixed spread haircut, not from a real option. experiment. Done. Okay. Um. So the experiments were performed. There are results already. Take a look. Have downloaded the new data, I guess. Where is it coming from? Ah, okay, it has its own data now with BTC prices. No. Coin price. No. Or is it volatility? Yes. Sorry. Okay, so let's take a look. I don't know what the fuck is happening with this. So the conclusion is Wheel strategy framework is validated for BTC deployment. BTC IV dynamics are OU compatible. VRP is sufficient for both strategies, and both presets achieve less than 40% max drawdown with the position sizing. The key cross asset difference is strategy ranking. Conservative clearly dominates on ETH, but is statistically tied with aggressive on BTC. This is driven by BTC's higher VRP, lower skip rate. Gives aggressive more premium capture, lower RPC. No engine or preset changes needed. Both preset works as is on BTC. Framework is asset agnostic. The same params and figures generalized for ETH and BTC without recalibration. Okay, let's take a look at the README here. All the medium deployments, medium experiments were done. So on this last piece here. Okay, so it actually showed a better performance on BTC. It also showed that it works well regardless on the asset basically, and we don't even need to change the params, so probably we just tuned it properly as well. I'm gonna assess now the left experiments. Maybe we can just do them in one round, you know, and just call it a day. And plan for the next time something interesting, and also something like for the not the new season but the next part of this season, or we can just split it into new season, because I told you I'm not gonna be streaming for 2 weeks almost, or 1.5 weeks, but then I'm gonna start streaming again. Meanwhile, you can of course always subscribe to my channels and discuss with me whatever's interesting for you, maybe some feedback or some offerings. Okay, so new here, take a look. New experiments. 3 new experiments. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe we can just prepare, because there is like new experiments now, so I think we need to rearrange them and maybe combine them with all the improvements that we still have unimplemented. Okay, let's just do it like this. I'm gonna run the new the one here. And okay, let's update the list of next experiments. We have give me here. Attach it. We have improvements for later. Wait, was it running it on the? It was on Opus here. Let's update the list of next experiments. We have improvements for later. .md. I think it's time to check them out. We implemented many features, signals, rules, etc. During the development of this project, but we kept some for later now that we performed so many experiments. Assess the improvements for later. What new experiments can be done with them potentially, or maybe some of them are 100% redundant and must be removed. It is good. So propose a new list of next experiments. Group by severity if needed, group by priority if needed, add new ones or update existing ones as you see fit if needed, keep order of experiments ascending. Okay, that's gonna be the interesting one. readme is. We probably should compact it. Okay, something happened here. Use my assessment of each item in improvements for later. 100% redundant remove. Put spread instead of naked put. Event aware cycle. I'm gonna review it now and then let you know. Well, I have to finish now. I'm not sure like what to do with this one. Let's ask a couple of questions, couple of more questions. Um, why can't we assign new experiments that involve adding new improvements from the list and assess their usefulness, or they are not that efficient as what we have done so far, and will not bring new insights, and we can just start running the current strategy as is. That's important to understand, and then we can. Okay. Would actively hurt performance assignment cost averaging? This is double down after getting assigned. The entire research program concluded the opposite. Conservative wins because it maximizes assignments. Minimizes assignments. Require infrastructure that doesn't exist. IV skew awareness needs a strike level historical IV data from the repeat, not just at the empty wall. Even if we had it, conservative executes 11 traits in 5 year. Optimizing strike selection on 11 trait is noise, not signal. Staggered covered calls needs multi-contract engine support. And experiment 6 showed the call rolling has zero impact. Those calls never go in the money. Staggering zero impact calls at different strikes won't change outcomes. Superseded by real data validation. Volatility term structure would improve Monte Carlo simulation realism, but the research moved past MC in experiments 18 to 24. Everything is validated on 5 years real ETH and ETH and BTC data, making the synthetic model 5% more realistic is pointless when you already have a real thing. Pure analytics, peak evaluation, capital efficiency tracking, portfolio level data. These are dashboards metrics. They do not change what trades. Okay, bottom line, the remaining items fall into a category where the expected sharp movement is either negative, unmeasurable, or require building infrastructure whose cost exceeds the potential gain. The big discoveries happened early. Regime filter, feature stack, less is more, conservative, active on real data, position sizing, and so on. You want to keep researching. Is the highest value next step across asset portfolio. It could actually improve live deployment by showing how to allocate both and none of the improvements for later. Okay, let's write this down in both improvements. So I will not get back to them anymore. And readme to so we can conclude. Okay, no, I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Conclude the maybe no. In improvements them anymore as they don't make any more sense. Also, let's bump. Um, Also, let's bump the goal before multi-asset, so we can have 3 assets in multi-asset testing. So it offered to also test it on Solana. Okay, let's take a look what was changed and we can finish for today. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining. Let's write one more thing here. So next experiment is actually the backtesting on real prices. This is done. Maybe we won't do any new UI. Maybe we will. Okay. Let's just maybe write it down separately. Automated simulator to find the base params for strategy done. Once all improvements implemented, done. Check all finding restrictions. This one is done. New UI for real prices backtesting. So we've done many things already. I'm just gonna move them below. And here we have the last check is like we are just check in general the whole setup we have here, if there are any flows, like any assumptions, like anything that could have gone wrong during the development, because you know it evolved a lot. And so we are not going to be doing this. AI here. Another question. Does it make sense to implement a profit rule? So what I wanted to do also here is so the next one is gonna be, we are gonna check if our setup is okay and do we need any changes or we have any assumptions or something that's wrong. So just general check. The next stream is gonna be the last one before I'm getting off to my vacation, and I'm gonna come back 2 weeks after back to streaming, I mean, and yeah, we need to prepare something for this. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna keep doing this season because I'm not done yet. I really like it a lot. We done tremendous, huge work. So I'm gonna continue on that. And what I wanna do is first check is that everything is okay and implemented well, and the next one is also we can do new UI for backtesting. We can do backtesting on real prices, and then we can do refactoring for implementation plan to first reuse the engine for other strategies. Easy go to market structure for the current strategies, so we can just swap the engine from simulator to real one and keep it running. Define deployment rules and supervision. For the strategy to turn strategies on off when market conditions change. Orchestration. So I think that's it more or less. Oh wait, we have a question here. Short answer, no, it doesn't make sense for this framework. Here is why. 30 if executes 11 puts in 5-year take profit would trigger on a subset of those 11 trades. You're micro optimizing a handful of events. Teams are already thin. Take profit means buying back the option early. Okay, it doesn't make sense to take profit. Let's just close it. Yes, and now I think we are done. Thank you everyone again for joining today. Let's see on Friday each other and see what we can do from this. I think we definitely can do a round of code review by multiple models of our setup, just to make sure that we were not running everything, on the wrong assumptions. And I really want to make UI for real backtesting because, like, of course, we had this UI and we looked at it so many times. Now I want to see the real part of Ethereum, the real strategy, how it's gonna work and how it's gonna earn or lose, all these different kind of changes. Check different scenarios manually on the beautiful chart. Yeah, and also I want to try different start times. I don't know if it makes sense. Check first if it makes sense at all. Maybe it's already implied actually in this testing that we've done. Yeah, so once we are gonna do all this, we will be ready for refactoring and implementation plan. I think that's gonna be for like after a couple of weeks, and then deploy the strategy deploy the strategy to production and start working on the new ones. So yeah, eventually I want to refactor this engine into something bigger that we're going to be reusing more and more, maybe refactoring it into Rust at some point. And maybe it doesn't make any sense to run it as Rust for now. Like we only had trouble with these permutations with different type of perhaps, but we managed to handle this with a multi-threaded code base, so probably doesn't even make sense. Maybe I'm gonna get a bit better Mac by then and have more cores to use, So we'll see, and that's I'm thinking to do actually. The market is crazy, everything is getting more expensive. Probably it's time to invest into some hardware while it's not too late. Yeah, so that's it for today. Thank you guys again for joining. See you on Friday, 3 p.m. Central European time as usual. We are gonna conclude for this time period next time. Okay, bye bye, peace to everyone.